Is Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men the greatest villain to ever grace the cinema history? We start by asking this question. Well, some of you might say yes or some of you might say no, and some of you don't even know him. If we talk about who the greatest villain is excluding horror movie villains, well, there are other like Thanos from the Avengers, the Joker from The Dark Knight, Sauron from The Lord of the Ring, Darth Vader from the Star Wars trilogy, Night King from Game of Thrones, Voldemort from the Harry Potter series, and many more. But what makes Anton Chigurh a standout villain from other movie antagonists? Is he just a psychotic assassin who kills without a reason? Or is he the representation of death, an unstoppable, undeniable force who has his own ethics and moral code and will do whatever it takes to get things done? To know which one Chigurh is, first we must know who he is, where he came from, what skills or powers he has, what his goals are, and most importantly, what kind of villain he is. Anton Chigurh is the main antagonist of the 2005 novel No Country for Old Men by the late Cormac McCarthy and its 2007 film adaptation of the same name. No Country for Old Men follows a man in 1980s who found $2 million in a desert near an aftermath of a drug deal that has gone bad. He takes the money and flees, not knowing his actions will have greater consequences. Depicted as a ruthless hitman with an unwavering adherence to his own ethics, Anton Chigurh is among the most prominent character of the unstoppable killing machine genre. He was portrayed by Javier Bardem, who also played Felix Reyes Torrena in Collateral, Raul Silva in Skyfall, Felix Marty in The Gunman, Armando Salazar in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, and him in Mother. In the novel as well as in the movie, Anton is portrayed as the main antagonist, even though he never shared a scene with the story's main protagonist, Ed Tom Bell. Anton Chigurh is a cold-blooded, emotionless, and unsympathetic assassin. He kills without any remorse but always with deliberation. While he does not kill at random or without a purpose, his reasons can be abstract.
Howdy. What's this about?
Step out of that car, please, sir.
What is that?
I need you to step out of the car, sir.
Not much is known about Anton Chigurh's past, with the only things people being able to remember about him, at least the ones who he decides not to kill, are a very weird hairstyle and the cold, terrifying look he gave them.
Yes, sir?
I'm looking for Llewellyn Moss.
Did you go up to his trailer?
Yes, I did.
Well, I'd say he's at work. Do you want to leave a message?
Where does he work?
I can't say.
Where does he work?
Sir, I ain't at liberty to give out no information about our residents.
Where does he work?
Did you not hear me? We can't give out no information.
Anton's main weapon of choice is a captive bolt pistol, which he uses to smash holes in human skulls and open door locks. He also uses a silenced semi-automatic shotgun, which comes in handy in the scene where he single-handedly killed a group of Mexicans who were sent to kill Chigurh's target, Llewellyn Moss. He also carries with him a Tech-9 pistol, which he casually tried to kill a bird with for no reason. He also collects coins, which he makes his victims play heads or tails to decide their fate.
What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss? Sir? The most you ever lost on a coin toss?
I don't know. I couldn't say.
Call it.
Chigurh's main skill besides killing a person is high intelligence, which we see in the movie where he explodes a car to distract people's attention while he steals medical supply from a drugstore filled with civilians and security without being noticed by anyone. He also has a broad medical knowledge and can even take care of his own wound. His gun shooting skills are exceptional, as we see in the movie where Llewellyn unintentionally tricks Chigurh into believing he was in the room next to his when he hides the money in the ventilation system. That room was being occupied by a group of gangsters sent by the Mexican cartels to kill Moss and retrieve the money. Anton blasts in and brutally shoots them all down without getting a single scratch. One of them begged Anton not to kill him, only for Anton to shoot him anyway.
How'd you find that?
No, I'm not.
We can also see his skills in hunting down his targets, as we see in the scene where he tracked down Llewellyn Moss, his main target, in the middle of the night in his hotel room. Llewellyn also has a skill of survival where he gained them during his time as a welder and veteran of the Vietnam War. But his skills don't even come close when compared to Anton's. As we see in the scene where Llewellyn is waiting for Anton in the dark to shoot him on sight when he opened the door. But Anton also knew that Llewellyn is waiting for him, and he turns the lights from outside to avoid being detected by his shadow. Llewellyn escapes by jumping out of the window, nearly getting shot in the head. He runs back into the hotel and finds the hotel manager dead. He runs through the back door as Anton shoots at him from one of the hotel room window, nearly shooting him in the process. Llewellyn stops a random car and asks to give him a ride, but before the driver does anything, Anton shoots him in the throat and head, leaving Moss to flee the area wounded by a gunshot. Another skill Anton has is his skill in tracking down his targets, where he finds out about a bounty hunter named Carson Wells who, like Chigurh, has been hired to retrieve the bag of money. Chigurh kills Wells after Wells tries to make a deal with Moss. Chigurh ruthlessly tracks Moss down until Moss is eventually got killed by Mexican gangsters at another motel. Once again, Moss hid the money in the fence, which was unseen by the Mexicans at the time of their ambush of Moss. However, after his experience with Moss before, Chigurh knows where the money will be. He arrives at the scene of the crime after the police have left, retrieves the money from the vent, and returns it to his employers. In the novel, Chigurh is depicted as a man of great endurance, capable of withstanding the pain of a fractured arm, multiple gunshot wounds, and even a heavy car crash, as we see at the end of the movie. Another skill Chigurh have is being able to intimidate his victims. The best suitable scene for this skill is his conversation with the gas station clerk, where the station clerk assumes that Chigurh is from Dallas, which makes Anton angry.
How much?
69 cents.
And the gas?
Y'all getting any rain up your way?
What way would that be?
I seen you was from Dallas.
What business is it of yours? Where I'm from? Friendo?
As the man tries to talk his way out of the situation, he makes it actually worse, to the point where he finds his life slip completely out of his hand and gets into the hand Chigurh. But Anton likes to gamble his victim's life on a coin flip, which means the only way they will live is if they guess the coin right.
Well, look, I need to know what I stand to win.
Everything.
How's that?
You stand to win everything, call it.
Fortunately, the man got the coin right, and Anton tells him to be mindful of the coin he won.
Well done. Don't put it in your pocket.
Sir?
Don't put it in your pocket. It's your lucky quarter.
Where you want me to put it?
Anywhere not in your pocket. Or it'll get mixed in with the others and become just a coin. Which it is.
Chigurh also has a talent for improvisation, like using an antique coin to open an air vent, killing a policeman with his own handcuff, and using a shirt as a sling. He is also very good at covering his tracks, as we saw him in the movie where he takes different kind of cars by killing random people, and we also saw him burn one of the car to avoid being caught. This method of his is really effective, where a few people know of a man like this existed, and that the only way he can be found is if he allows it. We saw him kill almost everyone he met, with the only people he spares are the gas station clerk who guesses his coin flip, or the woman at the very trailer park just Chigurh hears a toilet flush, the women at the front desk of the hotel, and the two bicycle kids who give him one of their shirts after Chigurh's accident, which we will discuss in a moment. Now let's see what his motives are. Anton sees himself as sort of a hand of a fate, and as an instrument which exacts consequences on a person based on their past action, like we see on both Llewellyn and the gas station clerk. Although he doesn't make Llewellyn play his coin toss game, he offered him a way where he can save his wife and mother by bringing the money to him. but also tells him that there is no way he can save himself as it is too late for that.
So this is what I'll offer. You bring me the money and I'll let her go. Otherwise, she's accountable. The same as you. That's the best deal you're gonna get. I won't tell you can save yourself, because you can't.
As we also saw his conversation with the gas station clerk, Chigurh has his own point of view of how a person should lead his life and how the world should work. We see this demonstrated when the gas station clerk told him that he lives in his wife's place, which falls short of his idea of how the world should work.
This is my wife's father's place originally.
You married into it.
We lived in Temple, Texas for many years. Raised a family there in Temple. We come out here about 4 years ago.
You married into it.
That's the way you want to put it.
Well, I don't have some way to put it. That's the way it is.
He kills anyone who falls short of his ideology without hesitation, like we also saw him kill 2 people in the desert after they gave him a tracking device, because he believes people like this do not deserve to live, that they don't mock with his view of the world. We can also see that Anton doesn't value money, or anything materialistic, as Carson told Llewellyn, that Anton puts his ideas first more than anything.
Call me when you've had enough. I can even let you keep a little of the money.
If I was into cutting deals, why wouldn't I just deal with this guy, Chigurh?
Oh, no, you don't understand. You can't make a deal with him. Even if you gave him the money back, he'd still kill you just for inconveniencing him. He's a peculiar man. You might even say he has principles that transcend money or drugs or anything like that. Not like you. Yeah, he's not even like me.
We also saw Carson trying to cut a deal with Anton in his last moments, saying that he knows where the money is and that he can bring it to him, but Chigurh is confident in himself that he will get the money at the end.
Find it from the riverbank. I know where it is.
I know something better.
What's that?
I know what it's going to be.
Where's that?
It will be brought to me and placed at my feet.
You don't know to a certainty. 20 minutes, it could be here.
I do know to a certainty.
Near the end, Chigurh pays a visit to Moss' grieving widow Carla Jean just because Llewellyn haven't taken Anton's deal. He told her that her husband had the opportunity to save her by taking his deal, but he chose the money over, and now he must kill her just because he made a promise to Llewellyn that he will kill her. After debating whether or not to kill her, he once again hands her fate to her chance of coin toss game, saying that this is the best he can do for her. By doing this, Chigurh completely removes himself from the equation. He relegates his position to the enactor of chance's bidding. However, she refuses to call the coin toss, saying that the choice is just you.
Call it.
No. I ain't gonna call it.
Call it.
The coin don't have no say. It's just you.
We then see him leaving the house. We're never told if Carla Jean called it or what happened in the aftermath. But 2 very important clues tells us that Carla Jean is dead. The first one is when Anton checks the bottom of his shoes. This goes back to his interaction with Carson, where he lifts his feet up to avoid touching the blood, as if he doesn't like when blood gets on his cloth and shoes. We also saw him do this after he has killed the Mexicans, where he takes his socks off because he stepped on one of their blood. The second clue is the most important one. It is the sound of the train and the bicycle. We hear the sound of the train as he kills the police officer. And we hear the bicycle sound during his interaction with Carla Jean. This sound is a reminder of that Chigurh is really an unstoppable force and he can never be restrained. After leaving her house, Chigurh is involved in a car crash, leaving him badly injured with a compound fracture of his left ulna and walking with a limp. He then offers money to a teenager on a bicycle to give him his t-shirt. He and the teenager create a sling for his injured arm, and Chigurh leaves the scene before the police and medical service arrives. This is the only scene where we see Anton face something he didn't plan. For the first time, he saw his own life slip out of his hand and gets into the hand of his chance of survival. And it almost cost him his life. No, we saw how Anton Chigurh operates, his point of view and his ultimate goal. So we have come to our last question. Is Anton Chigurh just a cold-blooded killer, or is he something bigger than that, driven by something superior? To answer this, there are a couple of points in the movie we have to see. The first one is his conversation with Carla Jean in the novel book, where he says to her, "I had no say in the matter. Every moment in your life is a turning and every one a choosing. Somewhere you made a choice. All followed to this. The accounting is scrupulous. The shape is drawn. No line can be erased. I had no belief in your ability to move a coin to your bidding. How could you? A person's path through the world seldom changes, and even more seldom will it change abruptly. And the shape of your path was visible from the beginning. Yet even though I could have told you how all of this would end, I thought it not too much to ask that you have a final glimpse of hope in the world to lift your heart before the shroud drops, the darkness." Do you see? We can learn from this dialogue that Anton is something more than just a killer, but more like a representation of death who only kills for a reason. This theory is further supported in the movie, where we first see Anton talking about the gas station clerk life, saying that he have been putting it up his whole life.
I didn't put nothing up.
Yes, you did. You've been putting it up your whole life. You just didn't know it.
By saying this, Anton is confirming that the way the man is leaving his life collides with Anton's principle. In an interview with Javier Bardem, he confirms this theory by saying,
"This is not something personal against that person or that person. It's like there are things that must be done in terms of create a better world, what he thinks is a better world. And in this case, it's a world where people don't marry into businesses. They own or they earn their own businesses. So when he says that it was his father's shop, he says, so you marry into it. That is a change. It's like, wow, that's not good."
The other one is when he tells Carla Jean about how people are all the same, thinking they can avoid their fates. We also saw this in his interaction with Carson, where Carson tries to talk his way out like the gas station clerk did, even though he knows that Chigurh doesn't let people go out of mercy, that he truly believes in one's fate. We see Chigurh telling him that he cannot avoid his fate, and that he should instead accept it.
And you know what's going to happen now, Carson? You should admit your situation. There will be more dignity in it.
The last important point is the history of Anton and the coin.
Call it.
The coin don't have no say. It's just you.
I got here the same way the coin did.
By saying this, he is admitting that his and the coin's journey are one and the same. The coin can be viewed as a continuation of himself. It plays the same role in deciding when death should be dealt and when it should be restrained. The coin decides through chance, and Chigurh decides through his dark moral code. This is confirmed more in the novel book, when Chigurh is subsequent to spare the shopkeeper, saying, "Anything can be an instrument. Small things, things you wouldn't even notice. They pass from hand to hand. People don't pay attention. And then one day there's an accounting. And after that nothing is the same." Well, you say, it's just a coin. For instance, nothing special there. What could that be an instrument of? You see the problem. To separate the act from the thing. As if the parts of some moment in history might be interchangeable with the parts of some other moment. How could that be? Well, it's just a coin. Yes, that's true. Is it? When Anton says this, he is telling the clerk that everyone must be accountable for their actions, and how people don't pay attention to the small things in their life which will later have a greater impact on their life, and how sometimes some opportunities can have serious consequences, as we have seen in the movie. So what do you think of this analysis? Is Anton Chigurh the greatest movie villain ever? I will leave this question to you. Whether you agree with me or you haven't been convinced, please write in the comments which villain you think is the best. And I want to hear your opinion in the movie. If there is things I missed, let me know. If you want more video like this, subscribe to the channel to watch the latest video we upload. And we are looking forward to see you on another video. Thanks for watching.